Well, hello, everyone. This is KoGi. Welcome back to another episode of Conversations with KoGi. Today, I am so pleased to have my guest, Monroe Alise. You know her as an actress, as a trans activist, as a LGBTQIA advocate, as a conversationalist on social media. Miss Monroe Alise, thank you so much, my dear, for joining
Thank
Conversations.
you.
How
Thank you
are
so
you
much for having me. Listen, I'm blessed. God is still in the blessing business. You done had me crying and things.
today?
I don't want them to see that my eyes still red now.
Listen,
We was
I
having an amazing
yeah,
conversation, and I thank you. I thank you for your
you're
kind words. I
welcome.
do.
You're welcome. Listen, it's
Yeah.
important to, I think, tell people when they have an impact on
Thank you.
others, right? Like,
Thank you.
I think we have to start giving each other those words, not being
Mm-hmm.
silent.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we don't tell people when they make us
Mm-hmm.
feel good, when they make us feel bad. And
Yeah.
sometimes, right? And so sometimes that only manifests itself into negativity within. So it's
Mm-hmm.
important to let people know when they are impacting your life in a positive way. So I thank you. That's why I had to let you know.
Thank you.
Listen,
Thank you.
you
Thank
helping
you
me,
so
through some things. So even though I gave a little introduction, I always ask people, introduce yourself. Who is Monroe Alise in your own words?
Absolutely, absolutely. For starters, thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful to you and all of
Mhm.
the wonderful work that you do and who you are. You pour in and have poured into me so tremendously. And for that, I'm so grateful.
You're
Okay, now
welcome.
that's out of the way. Hello, everyone. Hey, Sugar Poos. I'm Monroe Alise. I am a trans activist, advocate, and all of the things that she said that I was. And on top, excuse me, and on top of that, I'm human. I'm a sister. I'm a daughter. I'm an
Oh,
aunt. I'm a friend. I'm a neighbor. I'm human. And yes, I pride myself on being a connecting conversationalist because I can find the relatable patterns with anyone in just having a conversation. And so I'm truly grateful for that ability and that gift to be relatable.
I love that. I love that. So, with that being said, I think my first question,
Can
I
you
think
hear
my,
me?
yeah, I can hear you, dear.
Oh, I don't. Oh, okay.
It's okay. It's okay. I think my first question for you is because I know you're very open. You
Yeah.
we can tackle it. We can tackle it. Okay.
Yeah. So listen, I'm an open
And
book.
I listen, and I want my audience to learn, and I really want people to understand that, like you said, you are human. You are human like
Hmm.
everyone else. When
Absolutely.
did you know for you that you were trans? Was it a process? What is
Hmm.
that process like?
Hmm. So, for me, the first time that I knew that I was different, right? And I
Mhm.
used different because I didn't have the language as a child to know
Exactly.
what that was.
Mhm.
But I knew that I was different because when I was in elementary school, now I can't remember whether it was pre-kindergarten or kindergarten, but
Mhm.
I remember sitting in the class and I was having a conversation with one of my homegirls. I believe her name was Sarah. I think it was Sarah.
Mhm.
And conversation was amazing. And then it was bathroom break time. And I remember following her into the girls' bathroom and the teacher saying, "No, you don't go in there. You are a boy." And I was like, "Oh, so boy means different than how I feel because me and her are the same. I'm the same with her." And that's when I knew that I was different. And then that's when I started paying attention to the things that were happening around me that made me different. Like I have an older brother and a younger brother biologically. And um, they were treated different than I was. I would get in trouble for walking a certain way or talking a certain way. And that's when it started to really identify with me that, oh, there's something that's different about me. And so it started very early. And that's when the survival had to tap on.
Oh my goodness. Like to be so young. Like
Hmm.
how do you navigate spaces at
Hmm.
such a young age? Like did your parents early on support,
You
like were you able to start having conversations with them early?
No. So let's be clear. I didn't actually transition until I was 29. I'm 36
Okay.
now, right? And
Okay.
so gender roles were assigned in my house at a very early age, so we had to do things, or it was expected of me to do certain things, or perform a certain way. And I remember how we used to get, and I'm about to date myself a little bit, but we used to get the Toys R Us circulators
Yes.
in the paper for
Okay.
Christmas, and my mom would get three of them for us, and she would say, "Well, circle, the things that you want in there." And I would
So,
remember going in there and circling my Easy Bake Oven and my Kenya dolls and like all of the things, and then I would remember my father coming and giving me a new one and telling me to circle something else and not anything that's for girls. Yeah, and so that there then started the practice of everything that I wanted, do the opposite, or everything I wanted to be or present, do the opposite. So that's why when I talk about that survival
mhm.
started for me very early, because I would get reprimanded, I would get beat in a sense, I would get corrected, straighten
Right.
up, stop walking like that, and it's what they were taught, what was passed
Mhm.
down, and so yeah. So there wasn't,
Wow.
to answer your question, there wasn't no conversations
There
being
wasn't
had
no
about, well, why do you
conversations,
walk like
okay?
that? Yeah, no. Well, why do you walk
When
like
did
that? Or
so
why did you feel that wasn't?
when did you find your circle? Like when did you find your circle then? Because
So,
we need our circle in the community, honey.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's so crazy that you said that too, because as I'm thinking about it, right, I didn't
Mhm,
have a circle growing up. I didn't have a circle. I think that it's one thing that we as Black folks do really well and have been doing since the dawn of time is
mhm.
hiding joy in our heart, right?
Oh,
No
that's
matter
true.
what
Come on.
circumstances we are going through, no matter what it looks like on the outside, we'll take a piece of joy in the worst circumstance and hide it in our heart. I mean, if you date back to slavery with the Negro spirituals and cooking the making delicacies out of what they thought was trash, and
Hmm.
and hiding those things in our heart. And so what I did was I found one person in my neighborhood who at that time was identifying, well, still does, as a gay man, and me and him became a really, really close because of circumstance, like that trauma bond. He couldn't really
Yes.
tell his family, and I couldn't tell my family. And so, because of the circumstance, we became the best of friends. I think we invented frenemies. It's like I couldn't talk to
Frenemies.
anyone else about my situation,
Yeah.
so I have to talk to him,
Yeah.
and that's what really held me through
Mhm.
my high school years, and even in the beginning of college. That's what really held me. I didn't start developing like a group of or a tribe until after college. I came home from college, and it was one of my sisters who I confided in, my goddaughter's mother, matter of fact. Me and her met in college, and I confided in her my secrets. And she was like, "Listen, I love you, but you're gonna need you some community friends so that can answer these questions and that can
Okay.
tell you." And I'm like, "But I can't go to these spaces by myself." And she's like, "Well, girl, I don't know what to tell you, because I can't just be in the space. I don't have that lived experience." She couldn't relate. And so she kind of forced me to
Mhm,
have like gay friends and, lesbian friends, and
mhm.
me finding that group of friends, all gay guys at the time. And they embraced me and loved me and poured into me. And when I decided to transition, one of my best friends to this day, I remember having that conversation with him, and he was like, "Bitch, if you gonna do it, you better do it all the way, 120%.
All the
No
way.
looking back." I said, "Okay."
All the way.
I said, "All right." And I interpreted that not surgically, but like
Right.
mentally. There wouldn't be, don't tap in, tap out. And for me, that's what I needed to be able to, fully thrust out, because
That's true.
I was trying to inch out slowly but surely.
That's true. You got to be
Yeah.
all the way. Because I know for
Yeah.
me, like it took a minute. Like I knew when I was 12, and I keep saying this, like I knew when I was 12. Baby Jessica
Mm-hmm.
Cordinez, if you out there, girl, I knew. Like I knew I was looking at her and it was different. But you know, when
I'm
you Catholic
screaming.
child, listen, when you Catholic, you be like, oh my God, the priest gonna burn me when I'm getting my Holy Communion, child. Like,
Okay,
you know what I'm
okay.
saying? Like
Because
for
that's what they
real.
instilled. That's what they instilled
Yes.
in us.
Like I swear to goodness, like it's just I was so afraid to
Mm-hmm.
even look different, feel different.
Mm-hmm.
And I always felt, you know how they called it back in the day, like, oh, she just a tomboy. But I was out
Mm-hmm.
there playing
I was sensitive.
football.
That's the sensitive one. You know, you can't play with them.
Yes,
They sensitive.
yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I
Yeah.
was out there in the mud playing football, He-Man. I got the Transformers. Like, yeah, I would play with dolls, but like I would prefer to be outside with the boys. And they would be like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, you know, that's the tomboy of the family, you know. And I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, but I'm looking at girls. So, but I just kept living my life thinking it
Mm-hmm.
would go away, just suppress, move on, keep dating guys, it'll go away. Eventually, you get married. It's like have a kid. That's the right thing to do. And then you become miserable, you become suicidal,
Mm-hmm.
you become
Mm-hmm.
like it's all the things. And then
Yeah.
eventually, you know, you're just like, I can't do it anymore. I have to
Yeah.
live free before I die. But and that's
Mm-hmm.
basically what it was. If I don't
Yep.
live, I feel like I'm gonna die. You
Yep.
know,
Absolutely. And
20
that's what
years ago,
happened.
that's what I did. 20 years ago, that's what I did. I'll be 46 this year. So at
You look
26,
amazing.
thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So 26, I just said, listen, I'm gonna be me. So
That's it. And that's it.
that's
And that's all you can be. And at 29, I did the exact same thing, and God has a way of doing for me what I can't do for myself. So even though at that time, um, when I first decided to transition, it
mhm.
was for a role that that I got casted for. Yeah. So,
Are you
I had been
serious, Monroe?
yes, yes. I have been pursuing the entertainment industry for a very long time, So I had auditioned for a play, right?
Mhm.
And the play starred a woman of the trans experience. It was about a house from the 80s, and
Okay.
there was a trans woman in the play, and the writer of the play was like, "You would be so good, as her." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And it was like, "Well, we want you to show up as your character." And I was like, "Oh, I can do that. Now that I can do."
I
And so I
can
went and
do.
asked my mom. I went and asked my mom, "Can I borrow her skirt?" I went, and at this time I had already started collecting makeup because I was going to be a makeup artist. And so
Mhm.
I had taken my mother said okay and gave me her skirt, and I went upstairs and did my whole face and threw that
Mhm.
little jean skirt on with some loafers and a polo shirt and came downstairs.
Baby.
My father wasn't home at the time. And so I was trying to rush out the door. And when I was coming down the steps, he was coming in the door. And I was like, listen, it's for a role. We're going to make a lot of money. I promise we're going to be rich. Don't you worry about it. It's just for the role. And his mouth dropped. And I walked out the door. And long story short, I ain't never take the clothes off since.
Lord Jesus. You
Yeah.
said this is me.
That's
I
it.
am. I am
Win,
the
lose,
way,
or
the
draw.
light. No matter.
That's it. That's it. That's it. And everything I did thus far, like if I go back to the trajectory of when I was identifying as a gay male, I even did that once I moved out. Like literally the day that I was moving out of my mom and dad's house, I
Mhm.
um I made a joke about being gay. And like I was on the phone talking to my lover, my mom and dad were sitting on the couch, and my father was like, "Well, he can come in, but I'll be right here to wait until he leave." And I was like, "Oh no, I'm moving out." They was like, "You moving?" And I was like, "Yeah, I got my keys and everything." Because my fear was my entire life, my fear was I don't think my father likes me anyway, so I didn't want to give him any reason to
Oh,
put me out.
right, right.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so, and these are all my feelings, but Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, I'm not. I heard so many war stories, and I didn't want to be one of those ones.
Isn't that funny how we put a lot of thoughts in our head
Hmm. Oh,
and
absolutely.
we don't know if they're facts, false, whatever. It's just how the world is set up to play
Hmm.
mind games. I
Yeah.
listened to a motivational speaker, and she said that the your mind is the playground of the enemy, or something like
Hmm.
it, because
Hmm.
it really,
I
really
agree.
is, you
I
know.
agree. And this is
And,
why I tell people all the time to change the way that we talk to ourselves. Because
mm,
I say this I can cuss on here.
yes,
Oh, okay, good. Because I was about to, because I always say, listen, I can whoop my ass better than anybody I know.
girl.
I can misuse, abuse, neglect, and disrespect me better than anybody I know. And that all involves me in the way that I talk to myself. You're not good enough, bitch. You're too fat. You're ugly. Why would you even go there? You're too tall. You're too light. You're too dark. Like, this is
Yeah.
stupid. You're stupid. The way that I talk to myself feeds what the people think of me, right? Or what I think they think of me anyway. So if I change the way that I talk to me and counter that in the moment, like I have to do it right then and there in the moment when I think it. No, that's a lie. That's a lie. I am enough. No, that's a lie. That's a lie. Yeah,
That's
and I have to continuously do that.
that's very true. I think for the first time in a long time, I let down the visor in the car and looked in that
Mm.
mirror and said, I love you to myself,
Mm.
like before going to work. I was like, I love
Mm-hmm.
you. I love you so much. Have a good day. Like I was talking to
Mm-hmm.
myself and I was like, damn, that felt good.
It do. It
It
do.
do.
It do. It makes you feel so good. And I do it, and especially like right before I go to work or like right
Mhm.
before I go somewhere, I do it. Because if I sit and I do it, and like if I really want to become self-aware or really tap into the inner me, standing in front of a mirror and really just talking to myself and looking me dead on in the mirror and telling myself you are enough. You are worthy. You are
Mhm.
loved. And literally repeating it until it hits my soul, because that's the kind of counter work you have to do, that I
Yeah.
have to do. Listen, I can just talk about me, child, that
Yeah,
I have
you
to do
say
it
that all the
myself.
time. You be like, listen, I'm just talking about me. I'm just
I'm
talking
just talking
about
about
me.
me, child. I'm just talking about me. You know, 'cause that's what I got to do. That's what I got to do. Yes.
Oh my God. So, question, was there an event for you, or
Mm-hmm.
was there something that happened where you knew you had to become an advocate, a
Mm-hmm.
fierce activist? Was it
Mm-hmm.
something transformative? Was it something that you
Mm-hmm.
saw and you said,
Mm-hmm.
okay, listen, it's not just about the skirt, it's not just about the pump,
Mm-hmm.
it's not just about
Mm-hmm.
I'm fixing to go transform myself, but I need to go transform the world in my
Mm-hmm.
new
Well,
sense.
thank you. Well,
Mm-hmm.
thank you for recognizing and acknowledging, the work, because sometimes I don't think often we, and I'm including, other trans activists and trans advocates, we even hear that because there's so much work that needs to be done, right? And I think for me, the one thing if I could pinpoint it to one thing that really sparked it for me, was that I didn't see any needs. There wasn't
Mm-hmm.
any needs. I didn't have anyone that I could go to and say, "Hey, girl, how did you start your hormones?" Or, "Hey, girl, how did you, where did you get this done?" Or, "How did you, or where can I?" There wasn't anyone for that for me. There wasn't anyone in my tribe or my circle, because they all identified as male. Mainly a lot of them identified as gay, heterosexual. The females, heterosexual. So there was no one that could identify with me and who I was, and most importantly, identify with my story. And so I really started just trying to help one person. Well, if there is one person that may be thinking like me, let me share this information. Or every time someone asks me or help, or I cross paths with someone,
Mm-hmm.
I started sharing that information. And also when wrongs took place, I
Mm-hmm.
vocalized it. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that with all, I mean, and all, I'm sure that all of my sisters and my siblings will kind of say the same thing. It's like, I didn't sign up to say, hey, I'm going to be an activist or an advocate. It's just,
Right.
it's something that is literally innately embedded in you when you make the conscious decision to stand up, for yourself, and then for the people who don't have the voice or don't have the strength or the courage or the wherewithal sometimes to even
Mm-hmm.
do it. And so, it becomes bigger than you, I think, once you make that first decision.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And then after you made that decision, was there an organization that
Hmm.
reached out? Did they see your work and they said, listen, we want you to represent us? Who was the first organization that reached out to you for advocacy?
Honestly, for advocacy, there wasn't a
Really?
first organization. Yeah, there wasn't. God has a way of doing for me what I can't do for myself, right? and
Mhm.
um and
Exactly.
and God has placed me in rooms or introduced me with people that really helped transcend my activism and advocacy. Now, I
Mhm.
can't think of an organization. I actually can think of the person who really kind of took me under their wing in the beginning, and really allowed me to see things from behind the scenes, with the information and stuff. And that was Dr. Lords Hunter. She was the one who introduced me to the advocacy and really helped me be able to, invited me in, I should say, because I didn't know
Oh.
where to start. I didn't know what to do. And when we had, I think we were at a rally or something,
Mhm.
and we were introduced and we built a connection from there. And she really helped me with the start of what that advocacy and activism looked like.
I love that. I love that.
Hmm.
I absolutely love that. So I want to just acknowledge this before I even tackle what's going on right now and what has been going on for quite some time. Your appearance at the White House,
Hmm.
2017.
Hmm.
What was that like? First of all, how did you get that invitation to
Hmm.
perform at the White House? Can
Hmm.
you just let the
So
audience
again,
know?
yeah, yeah, and it's so crazy because, like I just said, Dr. Lords Ashley Hunter. While having that introduction with her, and we were having a conversation about, what I wanted to change in the world, and
Mhm,
the representation and the visibility in a sense. And I really started to tell her all the things that I wanted to accomplish, and as far as singing and acting and all of the things, and really being able to be visible for the people that could identify with my story. And so she had hired me to host an event prior to that, where I was only supposed to be there for like 2 hours, and I ended up being there for like 4 hours. The 2 hour event turned into a 4 hour event, and I ended up performing. I ended up hosting. I ended up navigating a TED talk, and it was really, really great. And she then turned to me when we were leaving and said that she wanted me to sing at the White House, and I said, "You're kidding me!" And she was like, "No, I want you to come to the transgender community briefing at the White House, and I want you to sing." And I was floored. Not only were we in the presidency of with not only did we have a black president, but now you want my black transness present to sing. And so it was, and I was, I mean, and I was among amazing people like Shia Diamond and Shaquita Lee, and that she performed. Shaquita Lee is a drag performer, and she performed. So the LGBTQIA presence was definitely felt that day. And I'm so grateful to have, that I can say that I vocally performed at the White House. Yeah.
Fear.
No, you're
Um,
fine.
Um, do you think after that we've seen more or less presence of trans people in the media? Do you
You
think that
know, I would say
like
more. I would say
more?
more, but I won't say enough. Yeah, I
Mhm,
won't for
mhm,
yeah, I won't say, it'll never be enough. It'll never be enough.
yeah.
But I think that it's gotten better. I think that it's definitely got better. I would be lying if I said that it didn't.
Mhm,
We've been able to have wonderful shows like Pose and, many of other shows centered around the LGBT community, and that was one of the things that helped the visibility of Black trans women,
mhm,
along with other shows and media, and even in
mhm.
news, Janet Mock and things like that. And
Yeah,
so and Laverne Cox on Orange is the New Black,
of
and
course.
so we were able to take a step forward, but with
Mhm,
every step forward, there's always a step back or four steps back.
always.
And I think that that was one of the years where we were able to be more visible than ever, but then also that was one of the years where the death toll of Black trans and gender nonconforming people were higher than ever as well.
Yes, because I spoke about that on one of my previous shows. There was an
Hmm.
advocate article, and the death toll for gender nonconforming, trans, non-binary people, it was just tragic. Like, and
It's
the
horrible.
silence. It's the, you know what it is for me. It's like it's the silence for me.
Hmm.
It's the lack of humanity.
Hmm.
I don't know if it's maybe the lack of understand. Well, okay, let me go back. I think for me, it's because people feel like maybe trans people, non-binary people, queer people aren't human. They have us
Hmm.
in like this subhuman, like
Disposable,
category,
expendable
like
category. Hmm.
yeah, like, and I be like, y'all know I'm Black too, right? Like, there's no like I'm Black lesbian. Like, I don't get it. Like, so I don't
Hmm.
know. And
Absolutely.
I almost feel like, so if I die, like, yeah, my family will care, but it's almost like you'll protest for me if I'm Black. But once you find out that
It's
I'm
over.
Black and lesbian,
It's
oh,
over.
oh, oh. But if you find out Black and trans, oh, whoo, Lord,
Wash their hands. Wash
what?
their hands. And I think that's one of the saddest things that I've ever had to even witness and see. You know, one of the things that really stuck with me and intensified my activism in reference to being a trans activist is
Mhm.
when we were in the middle and the thick of the George Floyd uh, death, and here it is in the same city, in the same state as George Floyd, Ayanna Dior was attacked as
Yes,
a Black trans woman at the gas station by over 30, 40 Black and brown men and women while screaming Black Lives Matter. And that really lit and ignited a fire under me to where
mhm.
I wanted to get involved, and I wanted to start being with the local organizations and
Yes,
really trying to see what I can do to be an influence
yes,
and really affect the day-to-day lives of my siblings. And yeah, it's so sad. It's so sad that we dehumanize, and I'm saying we, but as a Black woman of the trans
right,
experience, because I'm Black first,
right.
they dehumanize us. They tried their best to make it justify or find reasonable cause for killing us. We now have ruined their "I didn't know" theory, because we're more visible than ever. You see the text messages and the phone calls and you see the emails and so and if you can tell so much when you see us walking out and about, you can't say you ain't know. Now you can't say you ain't know if you can tell. If you got a
Now
third
you
eye like
can't
you
say.
say you do,
Right.
tell.
Walk around bird box. Now you can't do that. You can't do the bird
Okay.
box now.
Now
Yeah.
you can't see. Now you ain't know. You had no idea. And it's just
And
sad.
it's so sad. And I don't think people understand that they're really picking up a lot of white supremacy tropes too when
Through
they
ventriloquism.
start, like,
Hmm.
I be listening and I'm like, oh, y'all sound just like them. Y'all don't recognize that.
No, they don't want to see it. They don't want to see it. That's it. They just don't want to see it. And it did my heart well last night while I was at the HRC National Dinner and I heard our
Yes.
president say
Tell
out
us
of his
about
own
that.
mouth about the war on Black women of the trans experience. To hear him vocalize that really warmed
Lord.
my heart because I don't want us to keep yes, a lot of us are being harmed and murdered. Yes, a
Mhm.
lot of us are being targeted, but Black women of the
That's
trans
right.
experience are
That's right.
being targeted the most. We are at the 80 percentile mark of
Yes.
those murders. And so we have
Hmm.
to be very mindful of that and call a thing a thing. We can't keep trying to sweep it under the rug and make it. And for me, let me just
That's
say
right.
this for me, we can't keep trying to sweep it under the rug and not acknowledge it and call a thing because we have to. We
Hmm.
have to. Because this is the same thing they did with civil rights. Well, no, like it's just all right. Y'all are people, but well, they didn't mean to harm you. If you would have just like, and that's not okay.
There it is. There it is. I just, at some point, we have to be honest, and we have to
Hmm.
stop doing this picking and choosing, because the cherry picking
Hmm.
is real out here. Like,
Oh
you
yeah.
you can't march and protest for Black lives, but only some Black lives. You can't do it. I'm sorry. I mean, when they say all lives matter, you're pissed about that.
Offended,
You
highly
you
offended.
you are highly offended at all lives matter, because this Black lives matter all day, because Black lives matter. This is very true.
Hmm.
You know that we are included in that, right? So,
Absolutely.
oh, okay, but we not. Oh, okay. All right.
Hmm.
Well, all right. See, okay.
Hmm. I did, and I think that this is my mission as I continue to continue to live and encounter people where
Hmm.
I try to simplify things.
Hmm.
I don't want to use all these, $5 words like my mama would say, or $10 words, trying to sound all,
Yes.
sophisticated and whatnot, and like I
Yes.
know something more than somebody else. I did an interview once with a news reporter here in Washington, D.C., and I asked him at the end of that interview, I said, I want you to think about the person you love the most, someone that is near and dear to your heart, someone whom you love beyond words. Now, I want you to visualize that person and now think that if that person was to come to you and say that they were trans or that they wanted to transition, would the love you have for them change?
Hmm.
If so,
That's
and
it.
why? Because I think people don't realize that we live in a time where people love to mind their business but not mind their business. And if it ain't affect them personally, it ain't got nothing to talk about. But when it hits them in the gut, it's a problem. And it's the same thing. If a Black person was killed by the hands of a police officer, it affects us all, right? But when it's your child, then we have to rally. No, it's the same thing. When a Black trans woman is murdered, it is the same thing. If it was me, would that be different for you? Like, I'm someone's daughter. I'm
Yes,
someone's niece. I'm someone's aunt.
that's right. That's right.
And so we have to personalize those things.
And you pay taxes like the rest of them.
Hello?
Listen, listen. You pay taxes. You paying rent. You contributing to the society just like everybody else, right? I know they taking Social Security out of my check. They taking
And
Medicare.
mine.
Listen,
And
listen,
mine.
listen, baby. I put gas in my car just like everybody else. What's the difference? I could have
Hmm.
sworn we bleed the same. And it's,
And
you know
do.
what's unfortunate, for the longest, gay people could not donate blood, but people need blood.
President Biden talked about that last night too. Hmm.
You know what I'm
Yeah, it was
saying?
a really great. It was really great to hear a lot of the things that needed to
Mhm.
be changed in the world
Yes,
and the things that he's doing to fix it.
yes. Because
Hmm.
I work in healthcare, and the things that I wish I could talk about
Hmm.
that is happening, my. Trust me, there are bigger fish to fry than worry
Absolutely.
about what people are doing in their homes and outside of their homes, and they are not messing with you. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
that's just ridiculous. And it's like the people who say thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers, but then don't want to do anything about that because it's
Hmm.
not their child. Like you just
Hmm.
said, it's not
Absolutely.
their child. If it was
Hmm.
their child, I'm sure it would change, unless you just pure evil. And if it's your child, God help. If you don't care about
Mm.
that, then ooh, but that's the world we're living in, and it's truly sad. It it,
Absolutely.
it really is, because you are born to love. You are taught hate.
I believe that.
When
I
them
believe
kids
that
are on the
wholeheartedly.
playground, they don't know color and this and that. They just trying to play with little
Nothing.
Johnny. They just trying to play with little
That's
Johnny and
it.
not eating them. They just trying to have a little
That's
fun on the
it.
playground. They could care less
That's it.
until their mother or father goes, "Don't play with him." That's when
Hmm.
they learn. Well, why?
Why?
You know what I'm saying? Well, why? That's when they
Hmm.
start questioning what's
Yeah.
happening. That's when they start questioning what's happening. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
That's when we have to do better as a people and understand that we are being enemy to each other for what? For what? It's really sad. And it's a lot of people hiding in the closet in your own house and you don't even know.
Oh my. Oh my. Oh
And
my.
and you sitting up here hating on these other people. Meanwhile, your sister friend
That's
right there,
why. That's
your
why.
sister,
Let me tell you, I
listen.
took my parents on a cruise. I'm gonna say this, right? I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna let it go with this, right? I took my parents on a cruise in August, and people are coupled up and married and all of the things. So needless to say, I had a horrible time as a single gal on a cruise. But
Right.
what I found out is, right, I'm sitting there and I'm at the bar getting my ginger beer, and the guy is with his wife, girlfriend, fiance. I don't know who she is to him, but
Mm-hmm,
they're together. And their
mm-hmm,
child is in the middle. The child had to be all of like 9 or 10.
mm-hmm.
And as I'm across the bar, I'm not paying him any attention. And you know how you just scan the room. I'm waiting for the bartender passing my ginger beer. And I see the daughter head whip around because he has tapped the woman that he was with to tell her to look at me, right? And I said, wow, you have nothing better to do on your vacation but to talk about me.
Mm.
Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. And what I found out to be true in conversation and in research is that that's the new way men get a chance to look longer. If I say, babe, look over there at that trans person, now I
Mhm.
get to focus my eyes more on the trans person because I
Exactly.
invited you into it without me
Mhm.
now looking suspicious. Why you keep staring over there? But now we staring, but we looking
We
for two
stand.
totally different reasons though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
That's right. That's right.
But I'm gonna run on and see what the end gonna be.
Yeah, it's a lot of uncomfortable people because they are comfortable. It's a
Absolutely.
lot.
Last night, and I'm gonna keep referring to last night because it was absolutely amazing. Lena Waithe said in her acceptance speech yesterday, she dedicated the award. She received the Visibility Award from HRC last night,
Oh,
and
okay.
she dedicated the award to the courageous people who live their lives authentically every day, in spite of the world telling you not to, and in spite of the world hating you. And then she also dedicated that award to the people who aren't brave enough to live their authentic lives every day and hide in secrecy and live in misery. And I thought that that was so
Wow.
powerful. I thought that was so
Ooh.
powerful because there are a lot of people still hiding and still afraid. We live in a
Mhm.
world where people are so tough and so I don't care what nobody thinks and I'm this and
Mhm.
I'm that, but are in their hearts scared, scared, frightened to be
Frightened.
their authentic selves because they see how the world, damn the world, they see how the people who they live in the house with treat the people.
I'm trying to tell you, a lot of it has to do with wow.
Those
They
private
really
conversations.
listen. They really hate the person that I am.
Hmm.
They don't know that I am gay,
Hmm.
even trans, queer, bi, whatever. They don't know this. And they are sitting having conversations about something that's on the news. They on the
Hmm.
phone talking to Aunt Cheryl, girl.
And screaming. Yeah, them blank, 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 blanks, and them
Like them,
blank, blank, blanks, and them blank, blanks.
sis, listen.
My hope and my prayer is that, we make a conscious decision as
Mhm.
people to just lead with love.
Mm,
That's it.
mm,
Not the fear, and I
yes,
use fear, very wide in a wide category, including, the missia of it all too, the hate of it
yes,
all, because it's not always fear, it's hate.
yes.
But that we lead with love, human beings. We're all human beings.
Hope Giselle uses
Hmm.
transmissia.
Hmm. Hmm. That means the hate for trans people.
Mm.
Hmm. Yeah,
That is
transmissia
a
is the hate for
term.
trans.
Yeah, that is a term that for me even
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
hadn't heard, I guess,
Hmm.
until I really started watching Hope Giselle. And then
Hmm.
when I heard you and everything, and I was like, transmissia. Okay. I
Hmm.
really want
Hmm.
to ask about that as well. Okay. And that's
Hmm.
and I
Yeah.
think T.S. Madison even said, because
Hmm.
T.S. is
Hmm.
old school. A lot of us are,
Hmm.
listen, like back in the day, we used to say, we are old head, you know. And we come from, they used to use all kinds of terms.
Listen, and I too, listen, let me date myself again. I too come from that era. First of all, shout out to my sisters. I love, Hope, and
Mhm,
I love Madison.
mhm,
Um, I too come from that era. And so
mhm.
I come from an era where everything was kind of black and white. Excuse me. I'm so
Yep,
sorry. It was kind of black and white. It was either, top or bottom. There
that's
wasn't any
it.
verse. There wasn't no, you know what
That's
I'm saying?
it.
And so
That's it.
we come from that time, and now things have evolved like the natural
Yes.
order of things, everything evolves. And so
Mhm.
we have to evolve with the times. If we don't, we'll get stuck in that old way. And that includes people in the community. That
Yes.
includes people in the community. And so,
Mhm. And I love
yeah,
how we are open. That's what I'm saying. Like, and what pisses me off too is when people who are not in the community act like they don't have things, like you said, um, people their things evolve. So it pisses
yeah,
me off when people outside of community act like evolution doesn't happen in their community too. You know what I'm saying? Like, come
exactly.
on, y'all know
Hmm.
y'all got evolution happening in y'all community too.
And
So
I
we
can
out
think of
here
one right off the
evolving.
top of the head. I can think of one right off the top of the dome. It was very faux pas for women to wear red lipstick back in the day.
Yeah.
Heterosexual
You
cisgender
were
women
a
did not
woman.
wear
Listen,
red lipstick.
listen. My grandmother said you were a woman of the night. That is what my grandmama
Red fingernail
said. God
polish and
rest.
red lipstick meant you.
Yes.
Hmm.
God rest her soul. But baby, listen, red lip,
And
red.
now everybody around here with a ruby woo on or some type of red on their lip. Listen,
Because
don't even get me started about the child. I ain't even I'm just gonna run
because
on with that one.
remember the
But yeah.
video? What was that? The video by Palmer. Wait, what was that video? And all of the girls had on the black and they had on the red. Um, I can't. You don't remember that video, girl? Maybe I'm too old.
I'm like,
Listen,
what? Yeah.
it was by Palmer, whatever that man name was. Girl, listen, that's MTV 80s. Yikes.
I'm screaming.
Yeah, anyway, girl, yeah, lady, it was, yeah, red lips and red polish, honey. It was something else. So it's like
Hmm.
evolution is inevitable. So I feel like
Hmm.
we're all learning. We're all humans. We all bleed the same. And I keep saying this too.
Absolutely.
We all come from a man and a woman. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. Like, we all come from a man and a woman. Like, I'm so confused. Like, I have a mom and a dad. Like, you have a mom and a dad. I'm so confused. Ah, please, y'all.
Yeah,
Like,
I think that
please.
that's my dream. My prayer is
I just
literally
want
that
people
we
to
just
go, wait. Oh, wait. Click. That's all I want. That's
just
all I
forget
want.
it.
I just need y'all to understand gender, sex. I just need that to click. I just need y'all to
It's a
understand.
it's a spectrum. Like that's the thing that's so hilarious to me because when you think of it, for me, simplifying it, when I think of it like that, it's like, oh, it does make sense. Like if you have one end all the way over here and you have one end all the way over here, so what's the space in between? There's obviously something that gradually goes down to here, and there's something that gradually goes back up to this. So there is a spectrum. It's not just one thing. It's not one thing, two thing. It's a whole middle
It's a
section
whole
of
thing.
stuff.
It's a whole thing. And I don't,
Mhm.
as a person who used to do DNA research, I ain't gonna even go there with y'all either. Audience.
Hmm.
I don't want to really mess with y'all too much, but
Child.
I just really, yeah, I'm with Monroe.
If they
I hope,
can't swear on science, then they'll swear on religion. So it'll
yeah.
go,
So
it'll
I
teeter
ain't gonna
totter
even,
between the
yeah, yeah,
two.
yeah.
Yeah, they'll teeter
I
totter
just,
between the two. If you can't get them on the science, then they'll
yeah,
try to switch it over to the religion. Yeah.
yeah, and
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
yeah, I ain't gonna even go there because even the Bible,
It's pointless.
yeah, it's pointless.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's pointless, Monroe, to be honest. I'm with you on, I really hope that we eventually get to a place where we
Hmm.
acknowledge that love is the only key to humanity
Hmm.
and
Absolutely.
being one. That's it.
Absolutely. And President Biden said it again last night, and I'm gonna keep referring to because it's so fresh in my mind. He told the story of when he first saw two guys kissing, and his father leaned over to him and told him, "It's simple. They love each other."
Mm.
I said, "That's it. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah, that's
And the thing about it is, like, at the end of the day, and even people who don't love everybody, because my thing is the stats, whether you divorced or in a, everybody just go through relationships, period. Like,
and
we're
do.
all human. Like, this, it just, we're
Mm-hmm.
all human. Y'all need to relax.
Absolutely.
Let people just go through their lives and live and love,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it. Y'all be worried about the wrong thing. I'm like,
The
baby,
wrong thing.
y'all go worry about that person that's doing things that
Shooting up
you're,
schools.
can you, yeah, can y'all go make sure y'all get them sex offenders that's living around the schools? Like, y'all worried about drag shows, and I'm worried about these sex offenders that they ain't caught yet.
That's the
That's just me, like you said. I'm just talking about me.
mm-mm.
I'm just talking
Yeah,
about me. I'm just talking about me. Okay.
absolutely.
And I can't wait for your miraculous Monday, because
Oh yes, yes,
we got
yes.
a new tag
Tomorrow.
every miraculous Monday. Do we have stalls for, wait,
Transformation Tuesday, Transformation Tuesday, whatever
huh?
Wednesday, think about it Thursday, fantastic Friday. I didn't really come up with anything for the Saturday, but Sunday is Soul Food Sunday. Yeah,
Soul food
you
Sunday.
know.
Exactly. Did we get a
Hmm.
soul food Sunday? I think I may
No,
have
I
been.
didn't do one today. No, I
Okay.
didn't do one today. No, no, no,
All
I
right.
didn't do
I
it. I
knew you
didn't.
didn't do one today. I'm like, wait, now I didn't, because you know I'm
Yeah.
good at getting in that tag, and I be like, oh,
No,
I'm late.
absolutely,
But
absolutely.
I'm here.
And I appreciate you. Again, I thank you so much for even considering me to be a part of your show. And also thank you for the work that you're doing and that you continue to do. And just, I mean, just phenomenal. You're just a phenomenal human being. And I'm so grateful that the world it gets to experience you in more ways than one.
Thank you, my dear. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful, blessed rest of your Sunday. And
Thank
we
you,
will be
same to you.
speaking soon, of course.
Yes.
Tell everybody where they can find you.
Yes. Okay, so you can definitely find me on Instagram at Monroe Alise P. That's MonroeAlise P. Monroe Alise on Facebook, Monroe Alise P on Twitter, and also if all of that fails, you can go to monroealise.com.
All right. Thank you. See, we was loving on each other so much, we forgot the animals
Yeah,
and the technical stuff, child. See, that's what
that's
happened. That's what
hilarious.
happened. All right, my
Yeah.
dear. Enjoy your day.
See you. Bye bye.